Speaking of, I was looking through the list of, there's 17 companies that are going to be pitching at NCN next week in New York Nutrition Capital Network.
I do know that.
Big event. I know you're going, so I'm sure you know more than I do about it. But one of the companies is called Some. And I was looking at the website. It's really interesting, and I'm going to totally butcher this, but it says it's personalized hydration. So they have these systems. Imagine at your gym, there's instead of a water cooler, it's this.
Go to a gym.
Imagine it's someone else's gym.
Oh, okay.
A water cooler, and you can go and you use your phone and you can kind of plug in I want caffeine, I want this is the flavor, and then it comes out of the machine.
Oh.
And the machines are very cool looking. They're like these silver kind of drums.
Yeah, let's see.
Here, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, I like that. So NCN tickets tend to have,
Isn't that cool? So you put your...
Very sleek.
Sorry, people watching. Somehydration.com. Isn't that cool? So I just thought, wow, that's really taking this hydration to the next level.
How big is that? Is that life size? Is that the size of us? Or is that...
Well, here's some lockers next to it. I think so. There's a bench.
I need a human in there.
Here's a human.
Scale. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's the size of what?
Yeah, isn't that interesting? And
This is The Naturalist. In every episode, we're covering the products, ideas, and trends that are shaping the CPG industry.
Or that we just really like.
That's one thing. But then another really interesting hydration product that I saw recently, they're going to be at Newtopia Now, and it's called Hydra Hydration. And they're those frozen popsicles.
Oh, you had mentioned.
Yeah, my daughter loves those when you push up the popsicle, but it's a hydration popsicle.
Yeah, because I think that would be so great for races, fun. Right?
You couldn't race with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would probably try. That's not inexperienced of a runner, but I'm I'll try. Yeah, I think that the hydration space is fascinating. I'm after our my come to moment where I was oh my gosh, I'm parched to my core. And then now I've started drinking all these hydration products, electrolytes. I'm getting really into it, and I'm trying to find the best one. And that's how I was digging into this Reb A and Reb M situation, because we got one at Costco, and I forgot the name of it, but it's it's not positioned as natural, but it's definitely positioned as a clean label product. And then it has Reb A, I think. So both Reb A and Reb M are from the stevia plant. But it's my understanding, so I've been doing a little digging here, because of course I can't just consume something without asking
why would you?
questions about it and then tormenting myself and then never eating or drinking it again. So Reb M, I think, is from precision fermentation. And precision fermentation is when you use yeast or another ingredient to basically create something that can be kind of bioidentical, right? So it is that the right definition of precision? Okay, you're looking at me you're not gonna.
I don't want to take this one.
Okay, so I think it takes yeast, cultures it, develops more of this ingredient. So Reb M is available in only small amounts, and stevia Reb A, larger quantities. I asked our standards department if we allowed these ingredients, and they said yes.
Yes, I know I've seen Reb A in a lot of natural products.
Yes, so they said yes, but it cannot be positioned, and I don't know, I should look at this as for Reb A. Let me just look. Hold please. We're back.
Okay.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, with the answer to my burning question. Are Reb M and Reb A allowed on the show floor at Expo? Yes, they are acceptable by our ingredient standards, but products may not make natural claims about the sweeteners or the product itself.
Okay.
And that is because of the use of precision fermentation.
Thank you for
this. This was a button topic for a long time. We may not even want to put this on here because we make it.
Well, if anything, because I can't do stevia, so if this makes stevia better,
it does not, in my opinion.
I still won't.
It is. I will say, it is so sweet. So also through my research, I found that Reb A is 200 to 250 times sweeter than sugar.
Oof. Everything's too sweet.
M could be 200 to 350 times. And it is so sweet. And what I like about
electrolytes is like, that's like a little bit like electrolyte beverages, like a little bit of salty. And then I've been reading about just like beverages to make yourself. It's like not rocket science. Like you're just doing like like water, sea salt, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of maple syrup.
Yeah.
Perfect. Electrolyte beverage, right?
Perfect.
There are
Let's
many
go to
other
company.
ones on the market you can purchase.
And we can freeze that and make the icy pops.
Yeah.
Go down.
We're coming.
Look out, CPG industry. So you're going to be at NCN next week. What can you tell us? You're going to be presenting about trends. Is that right?
Yes, I'll be presenting about trends that I believe are the trends that investors who are the main attendees of this event should be thinking about because, you know, we see tons of trends, right? We're always seeing trends and product innovations, but we talked a lot in recent episodes about what makes a trend really last. And so we did some data analysis of the different trends that we're seeing in the market to present some of the ones that we think have the most longevity. And one of them actually is.
I was wondering, because you did launch that question to our team last week or a couple weeks ago about what trends have fizzled out. You know, they were predicted to go big and then they were kind of like,
Yeah, and people were saying some interesting things. So I think one was crickets.
Right.
I talked about the cricket thing. Crickets never really took off.
No.
You know, have I told you about my cricket taco experience? I've actually had cricket tacos twice.
I feel like you have.
And they were all like, so a lot of the cricket products we saw were like, processed, right? So it's like cricket flour. Like you would never know there was cricket in here. I was eating crickets. I was popping crickets. Like there was
Where was this?
There was a period of time probably like 8 or 9 years ago where crickets were really popular in like street tacos and stuff. And that's when I would like go places and do things. So I'd go places, do things. And one of those things that I would do was eat crickets.
I mean, it shouldn't, I eat shrimp heads. I mean, it shouldn't be any different than, it's just another type of legged.
But why is it any different? Why is it better than eating a cow?
Yeah, no, it probably is better than eating a cow. Well, definitely environmentally better than eating a cow.
I mean, why is it any worse?
Right. You said better, so I was just trying to spin it.
Why is it any better than eating a cow?
It's going to be fun as a say.
Why is it any worse than eating a cow, damn it? That's the point. That's the point of my statement. So some of the things that people said on our team that were trends that like went nowhere, flopped. You could say it because I don't want to get hate mail. You could get hate, yeah.
Bags and dags and dags of hate mail.
Outside of crickets, there was raspberry ketones.
Oh, see, I don't remember any of the other ones. Raspberry ketones.
Yeah. Didn't that come up?
No. Well, why raspberry?
Someone said specifically raspberry ketones because Dr. Oz said buy it and everyone bought it.
Oh, okay. I think that was before my time in the U.S.
Oh, you were still in Spain at that time?
When I actually first started at New Hope, it was when keto was like huge. All the certifications were just coming out. It was really kind of growing to its big climax. And I had no idea what it was. And I remember getting assigned an article to write about keto. And I was like,
keto?
Yeah.
Oh, so raspberry ketones and keto.
Yeah. And keto is gone, really. Who does that anymore? Hate mail time.
And then there's been some things that I think have done, like charcoal and stuff. Like, sure, great, but it's not going to change the industry. So what we tried to do for some of the things that I'll be talking about at NCN next week is really look at a few factors. So I talked to our data team, Erica, who's been on this podcast a few times.
Yes.
Bill, of course, we all know, Bill Giebler. So how we talk about lasting trends for this is, 1, sustained growth above industry average. So that's like, you'll definitely see a spike in certain ingredients or types of products based on what's going on, but sustained growth.
Okay.
So if we're looking at, the natural and organic product industry, for example, overall has experienced 5.7% growth in 24. So if we're looking at a certain trend or category within natural and organic products, is it above that 5.7% growth rate? Or for, supplements, we have 5.2% growth. So what are some of those categories
how long does something have to be growing at an above average rate to count as sustained?
So it doesn't, that's a good question. How do we define sustain? But I would say multi-year growth. So if you're looking at like 3-5 years, anything. So if it's just that 1 year, I think you always want to be asking, well, what happened that next year?
Right.
And obviously something like CBD is a really important example of that, where you saw that huge spike. Okay. So what else do we look for, Adrienne?
Well, we look for high absolute dollar contribution. I'm not reading this straight from you, Jason.
So that was interesting because there are a lot of like categories where we're like, oh, wow, this is seeing, 13% growth or 15% growth. But how much of the pie does that make up? So there's a couple of interesting examples in the personal care space where they still make up a really small amount. So that's not to say we shouldn't evaluate those trends or ingredients or product types, but that we maybe want to see when they start to reach a higher total dollar value. Then cross-category or systemic relevance. I personally am most interested in this one, so that you're looking at a product or a trend that has kind of, if you look at it holistically, what is the greater impact? So does it have like positive impacts for human health and environmental health? Does it connect different systems within the body so that it can be used? And we'll talk about some of those in a minute. But then, of course, you have to have the cultural adoption. So consumers have to be willing and ready.
Cricket's downfall.
Yeah. Come on, join me, people. Crickets. And that consumer demand, you have to see that. And ultimately, capital validation. So investors have to see all of these things, evaluate them, and say, yeah, we're going to fund these ideas, and we believe they're the future. And that's how you start to see that continued growth. So yeah, that's the longevity lens that we're
really interesting.
Yeah.
So right now, I mean, just off the top of my head, for example, in the supplement space, I know that women's health has had sustained growth, sustained last year, this year, but it's well above the 5.2%. So would that be a great example of that?
I think it is. And I do feel like that's going to be one of those, because we often say like, it's so weird that we're calling this a trend, right? But because it has seen this increase in awareness, cultural adoption, consumer adoption, I think that all of that and the investment in it, both from a science standpoint and a capital standpoint and that sustained growth. Yeah, I think women's health is absolutely here to stay, a focus on women's health. I did not put women's health specifically among the key trends that I'll talk about, but that's enough.
Where I just didn't want to talk about the same thing.
So I won't go into too much detail on these because you have to come to NCN. And if you can't come, because you probably can't, because you'll be seeing this like when I'm in New York for NCN. But we have another event in the fall, NCN San Francisco, and that's a great event too. And we'll share lots of great content and have a new set of companies that are raising capital presenting there. But so let's talk about this. Yes, number one, health span.
Well, we've never talked about that before.
Never talked about that. But it is. It's like, okay, that is not going anywhere. That's a total shift in how consumers are thinking about how they live their lives and healthy aging. It's about the quality of life. And as a result, we're seeing all of these different ways that people are catering their supplement regimens to their lifestyle, their nutrition choices. And it very much is intertwined with this personalization idea, right? Like people know what's going to make them feel good, what's going to optimize their health. They're testing and they have diagnostics and data available to them that they've never had before. And therefore, CPG is going to play a critical role in this health span conversation. We're also seeing the health span focus linked to immunity, gut, sleep. So that's that kind of systemic look at this category of it's not just about how long you live or even how well you live, but all these individual components of what that looks like. So, But one other thing I just wanted to note about the healthy aging category is we long had these ingredients that we knew for, are known for their aging benefits or relation to aging. And some of those we are seeing, ongoing product innovation, but some are kind of making these newer entries in, like certainly prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics, seeing that tied to healthy aging, or mushrooms, seeing mushrooms tied to healthy aging. And again, I think that goes back to healthy aging is about more than number of years. It's how well you sleep. It's your stress management, all those things. So pretty cool to see some of those other ingredients showing up in the healthy aging category. All right. Next up, functional beverages. gone back and forth on this. There's still we talked about some of the controversy around functional beverages, but I do believe that this is here to stay because we see strong growth, 7.5% growth of this is natural and organic soft drinks, enhanced drinks, sparkling and flavored water. So that's definitely well above kind of that overall natural and organic industry growth. But I think more importantly, it just relates to how consumers want to get health benefits. These beverages are delicious, creative. Everyone drinks. The beverage market overall is massive. So now just adding these benefits to the products that consumers are already enjoying and drinking, making them healthier, making them functional, I believe that it's here to stay.
I was just thinking, sorry, this is a complete tangent, but I was just thinking about this interview I just saw with Hugh Grant. Because, Americans, we love our beverages. We're have, come in here with our water bottles, our drinks, or, 3 different things on the table. And he was saying, I don't understand this whole water bottle thing. What, do kids have to take water bottles to school? Don't they have drinking fountains?
Oh, that's so funny. It's
and it's true. Outside of the States, you don't see the same kind of lugging around of water bottles or drinks or beverages everywhere you go. So
I lug mine.
You do. I like mine. Water bottle's so dry.
Oh, it really is. So, and why not drink just water? I don't know, because not everyone likes just water. Whatever.
I like it.
Sure, but you like other beverages too.
Yes.
So I think it's here to stay.
So functional beverages.
And hydration, absolutely. Number one, hydration, we see a lot of movement there. And then gut health. And I actually think it's really interesting that, outside of Poppy, obviously, we've seen so many of these different market manifestations that are combining hydration and gut health. And I think both of those are, benefits that you can get when a product is formulated correctly and marrying them so that hydration and gut health are really going hand in hand in this health optimization space.
It was just throw in also the fact that these products are getting cleaner and cleaner. A lot of them have organic certification. A lot of them have, Recoup, I know, has regenerative organic certification.
Yeah.
A lot of them have sustainable packaging options. So I think we're seeing a real renaissance in the functional beverage market, if you will. Sustainable renaissance.
Ooh, I like that. And I agree with you. I think we are too. So the final trend is protein.
Do we need it?
We need it. We do need it.
It's my favorite question of the podcast.
I love it. Yeah. 6.4% growth. But what I think is really interesting 6.4%, excuse me, CAGR.
I literally have to look up what that acronym is every time I use it.
And the market so this is sports nutrition, protein powder, supplement sales, and growth. That's what we're talking about with the 6.4% CAGR. Okay, but the market is estimated to be that it was $5.95 billion in 2024. But what I think is really interesting about the protein space is we were talking about plant-based protein for so long.
Right.
And I'm not saying it's dead. It's not. It still has a purpose and a place. But really, whey has been the ingredient that's shown that sustained growth and has really remained strong in terms of growth and sales in years, whether that was during the plant-based protein boom or beyond it. And then we're also seeing animal-plant combos doing really well.
Well, and also so much dairy.
Yes.
Cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, those have both been booming.
Yes.
And who would have ever thought that cottage cheese would become this kind of viral?
I know.
I've been eating it since. And of course, we're seeing beef tallow, beef collagen, all of these
animal-based products. And I think that we never saw them die down.
Yeah.
We really saw other ingredients kind of come to the forefront that were in the plant-based space. But to see, bottom line is the trend is protein. Yeah. And then within that, there's going to be different innovations. And I think that whey and cleaner whey sources is the way of the future.
Is the way of the future. Yeah. Well, and there's a new article that Doug Brown just wrote on newhope.com, and it's about he kind of profiles the CEO of Country Archer, which is now just Archer, and just talking. No, they dropped the country. Yeah, who knew?
Why?
Who knew? And talking about just, they've been around for around 10 years, but just how incredibly successful they are right now. And last year they launched a product line that won an Exy, and it was including organ meat in their meat sticks. So they're really leaning into these like clean meat snacks and the protein element.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, just seeing that, like that overall spike in, as you said, meat, dairy, fish, seeing that really driving growth of the overall natural and organic product industry, I think it just reinforces consumers are they're constantly changing, right? But they're constantly demanding protein in its mix.
And this is actually the data point I was looking for from Archer. They finished up last year with $200 million in sales, which was a 90% growth over 2023. So you can really see how that's growing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Can we talk about cottage cheese for just 2 seconds?
I love cottage cheese.
Do you like it more sweet or savory?
Savory, always.
Okay, so what do you put in it?
Salt.
That's it? A little bit of sea salt? And you're a salt connoisseur. Yeah. Thank you for the many salts you gifted, dear. Really. I have a shelf that's like basically Adrienne gifted salt. Also that flavored. Oh, thank you.
No, I like it just plain. I mean, I'll just eat it out of the tub. I like it plain. I could also, the mixture of like seaweed and sesame seeds.
Now we're getting
a little bit of that on that.
I was hoping would cover me. I like it with a little bit of. Would you like to know how I'd like to know? Let me tell you. A little bit, so some sliced up cherry tomatoes and a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of sea salt.
Oh, that sounds good.
I think it's good. Yeah, so versatile.
Have you ever tried making I've seen it on Instagram, baked cottage cheese?
I have not, but I've also seen it, and it just weirds me out.
I want to try it, but at the same time, I'm so happy to just eat straight cottage cheese.
Yeah, anything because it makes it warm, right? And we have those things from the Nexties a while ago that's also like, it's like a cottage cheese bake. I'm very open-minded in like almost always, except for warm cottage cheese, honestly. Okay, well, this has been fun.
Have a great time in New York.
I will. I'll see you later. See you on the flip.
Catch you on the flip side.